Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Strictly Football.
You gotta say it like you mean it, dog.
What?
But I was
Does it sound like I
expecting
mean it?
I was
I
expecting the music and you
Oh
just came out
yeah.
of nowhere.
It's not. Hey, you got to do something, man. You got to bring the energy, man. You got to.
So, somebody has to break the ice, and I'm glad you did that.
Of course.
But anyways, we did have a cool introduction that we'll have to get back to that one on the next episode. But we do have a cool new introduction to our podcast, Strictly Football, created by yours truly, Ariel. How you doing, man?
Oh, hey. I'm doing pretty good other than my ridiculous sound issues, but yeah, I'm cool, Now I can't use any of the fucking soundboard bites that I have, so I'm a little pissed about that. Yeah,
The
I
ones
can't
you had
use it,
prepared?
dude. Yeah, I had prepared some, but into the next episode, everybody. But if you got that, I'll figure out a way to get those 5 minutes in.
All right, man. Well, Irving, guess we'll introduce you. Guess to summarize how you've had a crazy couple of weeks, crazy day, but you are here with us, and we are here ready to record and start just catch up on what has happened over the past 3 weeks since we last saw each other. So without further ado, we'll just do a random transition. Irving, I'm gonna lead. I'm gonna lead the tarjeta roja to you. It's an interesting one, I think. There might be some that are biased in this chat. So yeah, take it away, man. Our tarjeta roja segment.
All right, everybody. For those that have not seen any Strictly Football episodes, first of all, go back and watch them. Secondly, Tarjeta Roja segment is basically us giving a red card to a certain player, a certain situation, maybe a coach, and we're just getting him out of here, getting him out the game. And our Tarjeta Roja this week, or our unanimous Tarjeta Roja this week, it is going to Luis Suarez after some remarks made about Loco Bielsa. Basically, his saying is that the intensity that Marcelo Bielsa brings to his teams is too intense, and that Uruguay is gonna blow up or explode. I think is what he said. And actually, Valverde backed up his comments, which Valverde I think is the captain of Uruguay, right?
Yep.
So Valverde backed up those comments, saying that yes, Marcelo Bielsa is being too intense with this team, and that Luis Suarez didn't say a lie. Now, just to give some context, Marcelo Bielsa has not won since La Copa America against Bolivia 5-0. Or actually, sorry, USA 1-0. He's lost every single game since then. He lost against a pretty weak Peru. He just tied against Ecuador. He's had a very bad spell of recent games. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about this tarjeta roja? You think Luis Suarez is right?
So just to clarify, the tarjeta roja is not whether we believe Marcelo Bielsa is running the team too hard. The tarjeta roja is that Luis Suarez is a scumbag, and just he's hating on the fact that he's getting old and he's getting out of this team, and that my boy El Loco kicked his ass out of the team. Right? I just want to clarify that's what the tarjeta roja is, right? Because it's not my boy riding them too hard, but it's some old dude bitter about getting taken out of the team.
Hey, it's up for interpretation.
I mean, that's the way I interpret it. I mean, fuck Luis Suarez. So, who cares what he fucking thinks, dude? You're riding too hard. Nah, you know what, dude? To me, this tarjeta roja is well deserved. He just let it go, dude. You're not adding anything to the team. Just let it go. It's done. You have to have 17 shots to just play a game. There's nothing else to see here. We should have. If anything, I feel like the only thing that Marcelo Bielsa probably let the ball down on this is that he probably should have had like a last hoorah for him. Kind of talked him into like the last dance, last game, and just give him the goodbye that he probably deserves because, in Uruguay, they probably love him. And, that's probably the only thing that I can think about.
Man.
Huh?
Best striker of the past 10 years, man.
For who?
Luis Suarez.
Dude, it's because you're young. That's why. You didn't see anybody else better. But, Yeah, man. That's to me. This just sounds like an old bitter person, and also the Heter also kind of go on Valverde too. Dude, you're the captain, dog. What are you doing? What are you doing? This could be the mark of the downfall of Uruguay, really, because it's gonna be like, well, then now it's like there's the whole conversation is gonna be about the whether the locker room's behind Bielsa or not. So I don't know, but I'm also biased. I like Bielsa, so.
Hey man, I mean, he hasn't retired yet, but I feel like Luis Suarez is gonna be that kind of retired player that's just gonna create controversy out of nothing. Like, don't give this guy a microphone after he retires.
Yes.
He's just gonna blow things out of proportion anytime he gets a chance. But I feel like that kind of just like goes into his ego of who he is as a player, where like he wants to be the center of attention, even at like 36 years old. Like that's how I see Luis Suarez. But yeah, I feel like there's Valverde backing him up just doesn't help the cause, and we're just gonna have to see where this goes with Uruguay. I mean, the lucky shot for them, I guess, is that we won't have to hear about these international players or like the international team until next year. So, but for now, I guess we'll leave Ariel's comments on Luis Suarez stand as it is until proven otherwise.
Look,
Which we haven't.
I'm
Which
the
I feel
Luis
like we
Suarez
haven't.
hater here.
No. I feel like I stand by your comments. I feel like we haven't been proven otherwise.
look, I don't
To say
want to
that
start an argument here or drag this on, but hey, I think Luis Suarez is right, man. I think he's right. Look, and it's not. I'm not trying to be devil's advocate here, but let's look at the situation. Marcelo Bielsa hasn't done anything with this Uruguay team. We thought they were gonna go to the Copa America final. They didn't make it. They had a tough bracket, sure, but now even after La Copa America, he hasn't won a single game yet with this Uruguay team that we thought was a dark horse in La Copa America. What has he done outside of this Uruguay team other than promote leads after who knows how many years? Is he wrong? I think it's just wrong. He's wrong the way he said it, especially who it was coming from. But let's be real. Let's look at the situation. I don't think he's wrong.
What happened to our unanimous decision? Yeah, what happened to your whole speech on unanimous decision on what our tarjeta roja was gonna be?
Sorry.
I went out the window now.
I had to get
Here
it.
it
I had
is.
to get it there.
There it is,
I
man.
didn't want to drag it on.
It's because you're young, dude. Look, I think this is a good example of just youth not being exposed to much, so they think Luis Suarez is some animal, and sure we can, whatever. But like,
He wasn't.
look, dude. At the end of the day, the players should not come out and say something like that about the coach. That's just at the core of this issue. We can plug and play any player. That's just not the code of conduct I think that you should do, especially as a coveted or well established star like Luis Suarez. It just feels like it's beneath him to do this. But he chooses not to, because kind of to Jose's point, it's like his ego can't let it go.
Okay, just putting that out there.
All right, man. We'll keep it as unanimous, and we'll just move on, dude. I don't want to.
We all agree.
We all agree. It's like,
We all agree to disagree.
but anyways, all right. We'll move it along. That was our lengthy tarjeta roja for this week. So we'll move along to our headline of this week. And as CONCACAF guys, it's always anytime there's Mexico and U.S. out there and they're playing each other, or if we're seeing on the other hand El Salvador versus St. Vincent, I guess we can touch that a little bit.
Top of the group, baby.
But yeah, anyways, there was an international break that just happened, and I think one of the interesting focal points that I think was kind of up there was the Mexico versus U.S. game being Javier Aguirre's first match against the U.S. and also Pochettino's first match against Mexico. Turns out that Mexico defeated the U.S. 2-0, and that was the first time they beat Mexico in the past 5 years.
It's the other way
So,
around. You said
oh yeah, sorry.
they
The first time. Yeah, there you go. Sorry, I apologize. The first time Mexico beat the U.S. since 2019. So I guess it feels like a monumental win for Mexico. On the U.S., it doesn't seem like they bother too much for this game since they sent a lot of their starting 11 home. But anyways, yeah, man, I'm gonna open this up and see what did you guys think of the game. How did you guys feel about any other games that you guys got to see this weekend? And yeah, just give me your thoughts, guys.
About the Mexico game and the U.S. game, I think they approached the games differently. I think Pochettino has kind of like he has an excuse, really. You know, he has an excuse to test out his B team or his C team. So that's who he threw out there. But they didn't look good, and I think he at least has a better picture of who out of that B team might make it on that team. And it looks to me like Sendejas might be the one to be able to get out of that B team, which is kind of nuts. But I mean, I think the team did look different when he was on there. So I don't know. I think Pochettino has a built-in excuse, and it's interesting to hear like the story around Pochettino and how he approached this game. A part of me feels like it is a little disrespectful, but a part of me also understands that he has to test out who he has. He has a limited amount of time, and then you put that into juxtaposition with Aguirre, who pretty much brings out their A team, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who's missing?
I would say so. No, I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who's missing on that? I mean, maybe one or two players.
Memote didn't start.
I mean, look, dude, I love that you bring that up because what we have to give up is my boy Raul coming back, potentially having one of the best comebacks of all time. I don't want to jinx it, but my boy looks like he's on fire right now, and that goal was a beauty. And I'm happy for him because I've always thought Raul Jimenez was really good. It's just unfortunate from that head injury, and he just hasn't been the same. But we're starting to see glimpses of it. So I'm excited about that. And you know what? And if anything, I think who should be applauding this is my personal take, is that I think Santi Jimenez should be applauding this because it takes off some heat from him. He finally has somebody in front of him that he can learn from, and it'll take some heat off of him, and he can learn.
Yeah.
And it's pretty evident that after this, there should be no room in this squad for Memote. Just stop saying that name.
Yeah, that's clear.
Just stop saying that
I mean,
name.
it's Santi, Raul, and then who? Henry?
Memote.
La Bomba.
Nah, come on.
Nah.
Nah.
You don't need four. Oh, and then they have Berterame, which is another naturalizado that gets called up.
He's not really a striker.
In a new process. But I mean, you're putting 4 players that are better than Memote.
No.
Why are we even wasting?
Let's not act like he's at least.
I don't even know why he was brought up right now.
I don't know why.
I don't even know. Honestly, I don't know why he was brought up right now.
Let's not act like he's not the third striker.
All right.
He deserves it.
I mean, it's interesting on some mindsets where there are people that believe that the U.S. has an A, B, C, and D team that can all compete at the same level. And I feel like every time that gets brought up and it gets showcased, it's never the case. I'd argue they just have enough to make an A team because the reserves or the people that are on the bench have not stepped up when they've been given the opportunity to showcase. So that's my takeaway from the U.S. And considering that we've always talked about how this is their golden generation of players, it sometimes it doesn't feel like it is. And on the other hand, with Mexico, and I feel like I always bring this up because it's always like, it always gives me like, siempre me da la palabra. In the sense, like, when they play good or when they give you this, like, game that makes you believe, like, it's always, like, when it doesn't matter. Like, after this, like, now, okay, there's a 2-0 win against the U.S., but, like, everybody's going to go back to, like, to their clubs, and there's not going to be international football until, like, March of next year. So, like, there's nothing to build upon. But it always happens where, like, it's those games where, like, there's nothing left after it, where, like, I guess they just realize that that's the last game they have to play, so they're actually going to try. So I'm definitely, I like that they competed, that we saw a different face, but I always dislike the fact that they're always doing this in, like, times where, like, it's just not gonna matter, and that's the unfortunate part for me.
Is there a little bit of space to push back on the fact that this game, like, doesn't matter?
I mean,
you're not playing for points, but, like, this is a team that has been whooping your ass for the last, how many, 5 years? Or how long has it been?
yeah, 5 years.
5 years. I mean, they're your rivals. They're the ones that have been coming here, punking you in this soil, that you've been coming over here, you've been made yourself to look like fools. You're about to go retire one of your best players of all time, Guardado. Like, I refuse to think that this game doesn't mean anything. Sure, you're not playing for points, but, like, you took it serious. The U.S. did not. You don't have that many games to prepare. So Aguirre is coming out, guns hot, and he's like, go fuck them up in their face and tell fucking Bucio to sit the fuck down. And that's exactly what we saw.
Boys and Nejas was getting pushed around out there, too.
Dude, I mean, they were bullying these guys. I mean, there has to be a sense of pride and a little bit of proudfulness of, like, yeah, the boys went out there and they were dogs out there finally. Finally, they weren't doing it in the way of, like, frustration because it wouldn't get in their way. I mean, I don't know. That's just my take, though. You know, they also haven't played in Mexico in a minute, so for them to also feel that, so I can't say that this game doesn't matter. I feel like it always should matter, and it just so happened that the U.S. acted like it didn't matter, and they paid the price for that. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. What I was I'm glad you said that because that's where I was gonna go in my kind of take on this game. To me, obviously, yes, you're not playing a final. You're not playing in the Gold Cup or in the Nations League or whatever, in the World Cup even, but it's still a moral victory, I think, for Mexico. You know, as you're saying, Ariel, USA's been whooping Mexico left, right, and center. I mean, you know, how many embarrassments has USA given Mexico these past couple years? So to come out in Mexico, retire one of your best players of all time, and you know, come out there and actually put on a great performance against the USA team that people are saying it's their B team and C team, but let's not act like there isn't players in there that start on the B team or A team. Sorry, there's still players out there, and it's still at the end of the day Pochettino's second game at the helm, and you have, you know, arguably one of the not one of the best coaches, but a good coach that has coached in good teams. So I like what I saw from Mexico. They look great. I didn't like what I saw against Valencia, to be honest. They came out guns blazing, and then they just kind of diminished in the second half. But I know these next two games, or these two games that just passed, are for Javier Aguirre to kind of look at and see, you know, what he's going to do with these pool of players, because that's all he has. But, yeah, I mean, it was great. Mexico played good. I mean, that's the best they've played in a while. And I think Mexico has their left winger, man. That's all I got to say. Mexico has their left winger. Their left winger and their striker duo. They got it. Raul Jimenez, man. He's had a great start to the season in the Premier League. Played great right now when given the opportunity. So that connection, that left wing and striker connection. Fulham is watching right now. I'm sure Fulham watched that game.
I mean, they did. They tweeted as soon as they woke up on UK time to praise their striker. Rightfully so, too.
So, yeah. Great performance from Mexico. USA, I think, if I'm Pochettino, I'm going out there and at least trying, because you only have so many games. I don't know if anybody's told them, but you're not playing to qualify for the next World Cup. So,
And I didn't watch the Valencia game, but I'm looking at the starting lineup. I want to say number 22 was out there. Guillermo Martinez.
Trash
yeah,
can.
man. It's good they didn't give him. They put him with the C
Was
team.
was Jorge Sanchez really playing a CDM?
I don't think so. I don't know.
No. Well, hey, this is not the same team that went out against the U.S., so I don't know.
Hey, you put Memota in the same situation as Raul. Does even better. In my opinion.
Jesus Christ. Why
Scores from half field.
Yeah, I mean he scored a hat trick.
Easy.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's my opinions on the games. We'll see when they play next. Oh, they play in November actually, Mexico. They play against Honduras. So for the Nations League. And the USA plays Jamaica in the Nations League. So we'll see. We'll see how they do next time they play.
All right, man. I mean, I feel like any other. I mean, do we want to highlight the top of the group, El Salvador?
I mean, we can. I mean, we gotta give them some props.
Yeah.
They just lost 2 days ago, I think it was. So, top of the group. Take it for what it is. Horrible games. Making it
Now-
out of the group.
Remind us, is this top of the group for the Nations League or for to make it to the Eliminatoria?
Nations League.
Nations League, okay.
Yeah.
And the Eliminatorias for them hasn't started?
No. I mean, it has, but I think that for the eliminatorias, it's not looking too good. I think they lost. They either lost or tied against Puerto Rico, and they might have tied against the other team too.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just looking at. You said top of the group, so I wanted to see the group. I mean, come on, man. We got Montserrat in here.
Hey, top of the
Saint
group,
Vincent.
baby. It hurts.
Saint
Hey,
Vincent.
they hate us. They hate us when we're on top, man.
Jeez, man. Yeah, and it is not looking good for them in the World Cup qualifications. Sorry to break it to you.
You don't gotta break. I already know. It's just what it is. But you know what? Top of the group, baby.
That's right.
That's all I know.
All we care about. There's
That's
a
all
one
I care
next to
about.
them.
We're top of the
Let's
group.
just say that next year in June, they have a meeting with Destiny. So
Against the big dogs.
Against the big dogs, Suriname and Anguilla.
That's right. Hey, man. You know what? Let us dream. Let us. This is what I love about football. You guys don't get it because you guys are from Mexico, so your team's always up there. But for us, we're scraping it. We're scraping it against the islands, dog.
This is what it's all about.
That's what it's all about, man. To try to make it, against all odds. We're not supposed to be there, and we're probably not going to be there. But you never know.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we'll appreciate that. Definitely highlighting El Salvador. We can't leave them out on international
Thanks,
break
man.
recap.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But all right, we'll move this along to our recap of the week segment. Couple of bullet points that we have to discuss this week. As you guys know, the way we do this, we have a minute to discuss each topic, give our takes, give our opinions, and just kind of play with it, man, and see what we have this week. So I'll hand it over to you, Irving.
All right. Yeah. Let's get it going. So yeah, our recap of the week again for those who haven't seen it. As my brother said, we have a couple headlines that unfortunately did not make the main headline, but we still will talk about them. But Ariel and my brother have 1 minute each to talk about this topic. Nothing more, nothing less. So yeah, let's get it going. We're starting off with you, Ariel. All right.
Yeah.
So our first headline or sub-headline is that Andres Guardado finally ends his international career for Mexico, and he might even retire at the end of the season for all we know. But he's done with Mexico, received an ovation in Guadalajara at the game against USA. What do you think about this? I mean, what do you think about Guardado as a player? I mean, where does he rank for you all time in CONCACAF? Maybe Mexico. Goes for the both of you guys, but
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, I think Guardado comes at a point in my life where I'm still young enough to, still be playing soccer, but still pay attention to it. And it's when I'm still seeing a little bit of the Liga MX. And I just remembered this little skinny dude with his little curly hair scoring a banger from like outside the box. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And just having memories of him of just being this little left-footed dude that was really quick, and he was just different on the field, and just wondering like where he's gonna go, like what he's gonna do. And I think Andres Guardado, I think, will go down as one of the best players, I think, in CONCACAF history. And I think in Mexico, I think he's more than deserved. I think just captaincy, and I think he's had a great career, and it's been a player that I feel really, I don't know. I feel happy that I got to see him when he was young to go up the ranks.
Time. All right, Lee. Same question goes to you.
All right, man. Well, over the years, Ochoa and Guardado have probably become one of the bestest of bestest friends out there, with La Selección. And I mean, just to highlight what you said, like those first Guardado's debut season, and the first two goals that he scores, the bangers, were on Ochoa. And then like the season after that they played against each other, he scored another golazo against Ochoa. So it's like it just pains me because that's how he got introduced to the world. But I'm glad that he did, because even at his young age, like he was like 18, he showed promise, and he showed that he was in it to win it, and he was in it for the long run. Like he was a disciplined player that knew how to navigate his way around Mexico and Europe as well, because he did travel to different countries in the European continent, and he succeeded. And I think if we ever go out there or wherever he played, like I think that they all have
Time.
good memories of him.
Yeah, Andres Guardado, one of the best Mexican players to ever play. All right, next headline. We're going to talk about Thomas Tuchel getting appointed as the New England head coach. He's been receiving a lot of backlash from the mostly English media. What do you guys think of this move? Is it a good move for England, bad move for England? I mean, let me know. We're going to start off with you, Luis. Go.
It's an interesting move. I didn't see it coming, if I'm being honest with you guys. Everybody in the English media is pushing their agenda to get Guardiola, and I feel like until Guardiola either comes out and says I'm not doing it, the media and just the whole England country is gonna keep pushing that agenda until like Thomas Tuchel shows you different, that he can actually train, which he is a great coach and he's proven it in the Premier League. So I don't see it as a bad move. They're definitely getting a coach with a name. Now it's a matter and see how ultimately what's important is how the players react to the new coach. It's not what the media says. But again, if you want to play politics will be there. But at the end, it's about the players, and if the players really want him there, then I think we'll see something good.
Time. All right, Ariel. Same question to you. What do you think?
I think football-wise, it's a smart move. I think he's a good coach. I think he's a pragmatic coach, and I think for international football, I think that's what you need to be able to get results in a short amount of time. And I think he's able to do that. I think he's proven that he can go far in tournaments, can win tournaments. So he has that going for him. Now on the side of England is just like, it's just that they want to make their cake and eat it too. So they want to have a Guardiola that's British. They want to have a Tuchel that's British. But they just don't do that. They don't produce that. And they don't actually produce fucking world-class players. So I don't think they're going to win anything anyways. But they're going to have a good coach. And they're still not going to win anything. So, that's my take. They think that they got good coaches and good players all like that. And they never do anything. So I'm looking forward to seeing their downfall. And,
Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm glad I cut you off, man. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, I've always rated England as a good team, so I thought they were gonna win the whole Euros, to be honest. But
Yeah, you're young. It's okay. It's okay, dude.
all right, moving on to our next headline. We're gonna talk about the Conmebol a little bit here, and we're gonna talk about Chile in specific. Chile last place in la Conmebol, probably not gonna make it to the World Cup. I mean, yeah. So I mean, what do you guys think about this? I mean, their golden generation is done. Where do they go from here? I mean, they've lost and lost, over and over. They just lost to Colombia 4-0. So, yeah. What do you think about this? What do you think about the generation that just passed for Chile? So, yeah. We'll start off with you, Ariel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to focus too much on the old generation. I think that my quick take on that is they had some of my, I mean, two of my favorite players. I really liked Vidal, and I actually really liked Alexis Sanchez. Alexis Sanchez was one of my favorite players. So, and they had Mago, they had fucking Medel, I think it was. So that, they had a really cool team, and that was cool to see, and for them to win the Copa America. But I think this is another classic case of CONMEBOL/CONCACAF not being able to capitalize on that momentum and just continuing to produce young players. And Chile, I think, we're really feeling that with this next Chile generation, where we don't really know many of their players. And I mean, I look at a team like even Bolivia, or Paraguay, that they may be grimy, but they're just not producing them.
Yeah, agreed. All right, Luis, what do you think about this Chile team?
I think even as the Chile national team, I feel like they don't even know when the train left them. They don't know, like, I feel like one day they just woke up and they were just in this position. And I feel like, at least from an outside fan, I feel like that's the way I see it as well. Where, like, I feel like at some point we were used to, like, the Chile competing and winning international trophies, that we didn't get to that we didn't get to see this transition into where Chile is now. So it's like, I feel like that's, I mean, and again, the ability to not produce players, the ability to not, like, build new stars, it shows in, like, the world of football, where it's like, I don't think we're hearing new Chilean players coming on the scene that can change the course around, for them to be competitive again and not be stuck in last place.
Yeah, I agree. The production of young talent is just not what it was before. And maybe they messed up by not calling up the seniors, getting some experience in there. It's just a bunch of young guys we don't know. So, all right, and the last headline, big news coming out of Mexico, especially for Chivas. Fernando Gago, their ex-coach, the season was playing out, and all of a sudden, huge rumors come out that he had accepted to leave Chivas during the middle of the season to go to Boca Juniors. He then came out the next day, told the press that it was a lie. He was there for the long run with Chivas. And then little do we know, but at the end of that week, it is officially announced that he leaves Chivas and he's going to join Boca Juniors, where he is at now. A lot of people feel betrayed, a lot of players. Chivas themselves feel betrayed. So what do you guys think about this news? I mean, what do you think about Fernando Gago? Did he do the right thing? We'll start off with you, Ariel.
Well, look, dude, I'm gonna tell you a very quick story. When I was younger, I went to Madrid's training camp. Gago was still on Madrid's team, and I saw Mourinho pass by, one of the first ones to get to practice. Ronaldo was actually I think he was the first person to get to practice. Kaká came a little bit afterwards. Sergio Ramos came a little bit afterwards. Pedro León stopped. He signed my shit. Higuaín stopped, signed some of our shit. Who was the last person to get to practice? Gago. Who's the first one to leave? Gago. Who's the only one that showed up in his Ferrari? Gago. Everyone else came in their Audis. This guy came in his Ferrari. this doesn't surprise me at all. He's been a scumbag since he fucking was a player, and now we're just seeing it more. And I feel sorry for Chivas, really, because he fucking played them. Makes me sick.
Luis, what do you think as an America fan? Or as a whatever? I mean, all right, go ahead. I'm gonna start your timer. All right.
Take the jersey off, man.
I'm
take
gonna
it
just
off for a
laugh
little
for.
bit.
I'm gonna just laugh for the next minute. No, look, it's. I'm always gonna be here for the downfall of Chivas. That's natural for me. But the forms and the ways that this guy left the team, it's just probably like the most disrespectful and like inappropriate ways to just say like, yeah, I'm out of here. And it's like on the personal level too, like this man looks like he left a mess where he used to live. I think he stole like 2 air conditioners to Argentina, and like they're clowning him for this, and it's just like it just shows you that I'd never liked him as a player. I didn't think he wasn't even a good player to me. And turn coach, I don't think he's a good coach either. So I don't see what Chivas saw in him to begin with to hire him, and second, like I don't see how Boca was so desperate to get this guy to coach the team. Like it just doesn't add up.
Yeah, is it a little bit of shame on Boca as well? I mean,
Yeah.
Like it's like, yeah, like out of all your like, I mean, sorry, now we're off the time, but like out of all of your heroes and stars, like you really want Fernando Gago to coach your team? And it's not just the organization too. Like they were like interviewing people on the streets, and it's like, yeah, tiene que regresar Gago, tiene que regresar a casa. It's like, oh, ocupamos a Gago que nos dirija, que nos dé identidad. I'm like, what? So, but,
desperate times, man. Desperate times.
Yeah.
Man, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, that's our recap of the week, everybody. Let us know what you think about these topics down in the comments when you watch this video. And let us know what other headlines we missed around the world and what you think about them. And we'll respond in the comments on what we think about them as well. So, yeah. Moving on.
Cool. We'll move on to our game segment with Irving, who has, I feel like he has a nostalgic game for us this week.
Yeah. Yeah, good thing it was in all 3 OGs, or else he would have been here another hour. But we got 2 of them. Oh.
But we lost them.
Xfinity.
Not this
It's
way.
back. It's back.
No. It's a shame that FIFA or like that Xfinity now showcases himself in FIFA.
Oh yeah, you told me about that. They should be ashamed of themselves about that.
Now they give.
Well, FIFA too, though. They're just selling themselves to anybody, dude. It just feels like the whole game is just a big billboard. Side note, everybody that's listening to us, we lost our game person, but on a side note, we've also played FIFA or EAFC, and I think just the way that this game is kind of unraveling is just making me sick, dude. Because it's just a big giant billboard now.
And I feel like EA Sports couldn't wait to get out of that FIFA contract.
Yeah, please.
That's what they want.
Let me get out of that, dude.
That's all they wanted,
Oh
because now they can bring all the propaganda that they want.
It's crazy, dude. It's everywhere in the game. It's insane. Hi, Edwin. Welcome back.
My bad. Literally, my Wi-Fi just had to go out, but I put my what is it called on my phone?
Hotspot.
Oh, my phone. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kinda.
Well, I'll just share.
Or at least.
Sure. Just share.
So, what does this football item remind you of? Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Pretty standard. I'm gonna show Ariel and my brother either a badge, a kit, a player, a video, something nostalgic to them, more so than it is to me, maybe. But yeah, and you let me know what you think about this football item. So the first one we have the old Earthquakes badge for those that are listening. It's the old San Jose Earthquakes badge. And for those who didn't know, San Jose does have an MLS team. So
San Jose has one of the one of the founding teams of the MLS, actually. So a little history lesson here. One of the very first teams of the American Soccer League, and they were actually pretty good. They were a good team. As before this, they were the Clash, and they had a following. They had Donovan. This sort of makes me think when I think about players, I think about Donovan. I think about De Rosario. I think about my boy Cannon, the goalie.
My guy.
Which I know that you somehow have a tie to him, and so shout out to him. Tell him that we've shouted him out on this podcast. So that's what it makes me think about. It makes me think about my youth and going to go see Earthquake games and being excited. But I was a big Eric Winalda fan. Side note for me, my favorite number is number 11. That's the number that I always had in my teams, and it was because of Eric Winalda, because he was number 11. And it was a Clash player. I don't know if he ever played for the Earthquakes. I don't know if he did, but I know that he played a role in that. And so I was young, so I really enjoyed going to the Clash Earthquakes games.
Luis, what do you think?
Yeah, I feel like to me this reminds me of for some reason it reminds me of Spartan Stadium. I feel like in those years where like Landon Donovan was still here and the Earthquakes were winning championships, everybody wanted to be at Spartan Stadium, like just trying to get tickets at the time, like for everybody's like no, like the vibe at these Spartan Stadium. I never got to go, but like everybody like the vibe at the Spartan Stadium was like the way to go, because like the team was popular, the team was good, and like they had really good players all around, like Cerritos, Ramiro Corrales, Donovan, I'm gonna say Rich Gannon.
The quarterback.
He was in the Bay, just playing for the Raiders at the time too. But yeah, it just reminds me of like the good days at Spartan Stadium that I feel like even for them, like it should bring a memory to them as well.
I think even my boy Brian Ching was playing, right? I'm mistaken, or he was an Earthquakes player.
Yeah, it may have been like a young Brian Ching, like coming up.
Yeah.
It may have been that version's Tommy Thompson.
Oof, nah, my boy Brian Ching was a beast.
Yeah, no, yeah, I mean,
he was a beast.
In the sense of youth, not with. But yeah,
All right.
Spartan Stadium.
Move on to the next one. Boom. We have some Predators here. Adidas Predators. This is the first Predators, but I mean, what do Predators in general remind you of?
It makes me think about the battle when you were young. And I don't know if young people are still experiencing this today, but I feel like Nike and Adidas had competitive shoes going on at the same time. So as a young soccer player, I felt like I had to choose between either you get these or you get the ones that Ronaldinho had. I feel like they were kind of the same type of like shoe. Am I mistaken on that, Jose?
No, I think you're
right. And then like it was like Vapors and F50s. So I feel like you kind of had to choose the type of brand. I was not an Adidas guy. I was a Nike guy. So it makes me think about like my friends that had Adidas and they had these Predators. I was not big on the Predators. I did like the tongue that would like, you could go under the shoe, but it was never a shoe that like I was like, oh shit, that shoe's hella tight. Even now that when I see the new ones that are coming out, I'm like, cool, I never had a pair of Predators, I always wanted the ones that I think Kaká had the all gold ones, I think. I think Kaká had the all gold ones, and I thought those were really tight. But that's as far as I would go, because I was like, my boy Kaká has them, but I never actually went out and got them. I was always more of a Nike Vapor guy.
Luis?
I feel like the release of the first Predator just kind of reminds me of like the start of a new world of football, where like before everybody was kind of used to like black and white Nikes and like just Copas, and like once they started like releasing like different color waves and started like giving players like their own contract to wear the shoe. Like I feel like it just kind of changed the game because like I feel like now it's like you had the decision like do you want to be Team Nike, do you want to be Team Adidas, what shoes does your favorite player wear, and it's like oh do I want to wear the shoes my favorite player wears or do I want to like go against it, like which one was cool. I feel like it added a new wave to fashion into like a soccer pitch that we didn't see before.
And you know, this is actually making me think about whether the Total 90s were the actual competitors to this shoe. Because one of the big selling points of this was Beckham's, that little ridge that you see there, was that the idea was that if you hit it there, that
You're gonna
somehow the
bend it
ball
like
was,
Beckham?
where you're going to bend it like Beckham. And the Total 90s were very similar. I remember just Wayne Rooney having them, and then like you know like there was like that one little like bullseye in the top of the shoe that if you were to hit it there, supposedly you got a better spin on the ball.
All right, we'll move on. We got a picture here. Pretty iconic picture, but my point with this picture, and for those who don't know, it's a picture of a clásico. Pretty heated clásico. What does this picture remind you of? What do the old clásicos remind you of? Because this is what they were like, you know? It's all fighting, pushing, shoving. I mean, there's hatred here.
Good times, man. Good times. This is probably peak Ariel Real Madrid fandom right here. I mean, I was all in Real Madrid at this point, and I think it just reminds me of my cousins watching those games and my tío just like, ese hijo de puta, agarren ese hijo de puta, mátenlo, quiebren la pata, ese perro. So it just, reminds me of good times, man. Good times. It's different type of clásicos. I feel really blessed that I got to see that, and also just like, I mean, that Barcelona team was ridiculous. I mean, that Barca team was crazy.
Yeah, Bojan as their number 9.
I mean, he was a fucking beast, though. I don't think you understand how he was actually pretty good, and like when he was coming up, like he looked like he was the real deal. I mean, he never fulfilled it, but I mean, he was good. I mean, you think about the young players they were producing. You're talking about Gio, Pedro. You're talking about you're talking about Boyan. Like they had some exciting players. So I don't know that these clásicos always remind me of a more intense football, which I feel like we don't have enough of now. Maybe for the best. I don't know. Maybe for the better. I don't know. Maybe we don't need many Pepes out there in the world, but this is different,
Yeah. Luis, what do you think?
Actually, this jersey right here was the first ever Real Madrid jersey I ever owned. So that's one of those that, and then there was also a time where it was just like, it sucked to be a Madrid fan because of the Barca dominance.
Oh yeah,
But it was
horrible.
it was also a beauty to like any time that Madrid was able to get a win against this Barca team. Like it just like you can rub it in their face as many times, even if it's just one win to like 5 of theirs. Like it was always worth it. Just like seeing like that Madrid win come out, like that Madrid team come out with the win. Like it was rare, but it was so more appreciated because you knew that who they were playing against. This is just like peak teenagehood for me, I guess, to put it that way. Because nothing gets better than watching these games on Justin TV on live stream before we had what we have today.
Yeah, my boy Ray Hudson. This is a fun fact. These are the only games that I would prefer to watch the game in English commentary over Spanish commentary because of my boy Ray. Ray Hudson. So shout out to Ray Hudson because he made these clásicos also a part of my childhood, and I totally agree with Jose. And I think like that out of this picture, like you forget how dominant this Barcelona team was. Like they would scrape the fuck out of this team, and it was fun to see Real Madrid play dirty and not attractive, and they would make it fucking the most boring. They were trying to make it the most boring game, but it consequently made it a really exciting game.
All right. Well, moving on to the last one. It's a video, but I'm gonna just skip through it. You know, we all get the idea.
Here, lower the volume on that. It's gonna blow the eardrums of our listeners. For folks that are just listening, we are watching Ronaldinho getting the gold briefcase of for the first time, getting the gold briefcase with his what are these called? Are these called tiempos?
Yeah, these were the tiempo.
The Nike
R10.
tiempos, R10 tiempos, and he's juggling the ball. It's the infamous Nike commercial.
The iconic shot is coming up.
And
There
he
you go.
knocks it against the crossbar.
Comes right back to him. Over and over again. So yep, that's the video, as Ariel explained. Pretty iconic Nike commercial video. I mean, for an iconic player, really. So what do you guys think about that?
You know, now that I'm watching it in slow motion, the way you're sending it, it looks a little bit edited. But you know what? I don't care. I still believe it was real. I still believe he hit the crossbar 5 times back and forth. But again, you know, it just goes back to the marketing. Like, it's just like, this is it. Like, this is what made you kind of like change, or at least for me, it made me change the way I looked when playing soccer. Like, I didn't have the espinilleras that had like the fucking shit to cover my ankle that was hella fat. Like, we just wanted like now we wanted to be like Ronaldinho with like the socks to like the little above the ankle and like wearing the R10s. Like, I actually had the pair of these shoes, and they were one of my favorite shoes to wear, and it was just like I wore them down to the very end of it. But yeah, I mean, this is like peak for those of us that got to play soccer around this time. Like, this is peak. Like, these are the shoes, at least, like, that I wanted, and that I got to play in. So
Yeah, I think this. So with this, thank you for that. I also had a pair of these. Some of my favorite shoes. What this reminds me of is a much simpler time where we didn't have access to celebrities, and I think that's what made this commercial so successful, was that there was an aura about Ronaldinho at this time. There was a mysteriousness about whether he actually hit the crossbar, and some of us believed it because we really believed in him, that he was that good, that he could do that, you know. And I think that aspect is kind of gone in the modern day, and I think that's what it makes me think about. It makes me think about a time where we believed in maybe fantasy more so than reality. But I don't know. Maybe football was different at that time too, though. You know, Ronaldinho really, I think, revolutionized the sport in regards to tricks and being imaginative. I mean, I just remember watching YouTube clips of him as YouTube was really young, before games, and being like, I want to go try to do that before in my game, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if young people do that now, but I know I did it when I was watching Ronaldinho play.
man, they don't make them like that anymore, man.
They don't.
That's the unfortunate part of it. I feel like.
Well, I just as a side note, I feel like the highlight clips now, if I was like, there was a video that I just saw recently about Neymar, and Neymar's a beast, but the clip was at a later point, I think, in PSG, and that's not to say Neymar didn't do anything, because I think he did. I think he was really skillful at PSG, but the clip doesn't, like, the tricks don't lead to anything. Like, he doesn't score at the end of them. He'll just do like a rainbow flick, and then he'll get a foul. You know what I'm saying? Like, the clips now I feel like are a lot like that. Like, they'll just get past a player, and that's the end of the clip, and then they'll go to another clip. But these clips with Ronaldinho, like, I feel like a lot of the times they led to something. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just old.
Well, there you have it. Our game. What do these football items remind you of? Nostalgic game. Let us know if you know about any of these items we just showed. What do you think about these items? And what do you think about what these OGs said?
What? I'm an OG.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. We'll take it away. We're getting to the end of our show, to the end of our episode, and as per usual, we have our debate of the week, where we just kind of grab a topic and just kind of run with it, and just see what ideas we have behind the topic, whether we agree, whether we don't agree, whether there's more to it than there should be. But I think in the spirits of international break, this week's topic is actually one that just we came up literally before we started this show, but I thought it was a great one when we talked about it. And the question is, should players prioritize club football over nation football? And I think it comes off the legs of the fact that, or one, Mbappe didn't get called up for France to play Nations League games because he said he wasn't going to play them. I think it was mutually agreed that he wasn't going to play if the game was not important. With Mexico and the U.S., we saw that the U.S. sent a lot of their 18 players back to their clubs because the clubs either wanted them back or Pochettino just didn't need to see them. So I'll open up the floor, and I mean, Is this normal? Should players continue to do that? Should they not? And just kind of see what you guys think about this. What's better, the club football or representing your home country?
Go ahead, Adrian. You haven't really talked all like that because you've been moderating. Well, I'm curious to hear what some of those thoughts.
This is tough, to be honest. Because I could say both. To be that person. But I'm gonna go ahead and say club. I think it's fine that they prioritize club football over international football. The truth is that international football, there's only so many games that are actually quote unquote important, right? Like there's a World Cup, obviously everybody dreams about playing the World Cup for their nation. But then apart from that, like you have the Euros for European teams, you have the Copa America for CONMEBOL teams. I mean, if you want to include the Gold Cup in there, sure, people dream of playing in the World Gold Cup. But I just think at the end of the day, like, the club is what pays you the big bucks to play for. Again, most people try to play for their childhood club, like Mbappe, and he plays for Real Madrid. So I just think the club football is a bit more important, That's where you're going to see the longevity. That's where you're going to see the maybe more fans, you're going to be tied with more fans, kind of the club's fans. But it's a tough question. I mean, you can make literally the same argument for wanting to prioritize international play. But I do think that club play is a little bit better, maybe because of, if we were just to eliminate international play, the schedule wouldn't be as bad as it is right now. So, yeah, that's my take.
But does that land on the? I mean, a part of it, I'm also hearing like, well, why are you making club players play so many games?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, the clubs are also at fault for just playing so many games and overworking their players. So you can't get mad that they get hurt on going to their international club when you're also working them really hard. I don't know. It just comes down to money to me. I mean, I think kind of to your point of like that's where the big bucks are. But to me, I think international should always be the priority. I think that's where you get your home base. Because club fans will turn on you in a matter of seconds if you put on the wrong jersey, if you say the wrong thing. But your national team, you'll forever always have that, And I think my example is Mexico Gonzalez. I mean, he didn't win anything with his clubs to an extent. I mean, I think he won something with his club. I can't tell you the thing, but I'll tell you right now that internationally for El Salvador, I mean, he's the icon of El Salvador, you know, and whether that means something to you all or not. I mean, I know that he means something to the Salvadorian people. I mean, and I think that he does mean something for the Spain team that he played for, but not the same as in El Salvador, where you're proud of, like, yeah, that's a person that came from our country. Doesn't matter how much they paid him, you know. It was like, yeah, that guy is from fucking Chalatenango, and he made it.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah. Luis.
I mean, there's a stat flowing around, and I think you guys may get to it too. It was on Twitter, and it was or X, and it was on TikTok as well, where it's like players like Bellingham right now, who are 21 years old, at his age back in the day, or right now, he has played twice the games that like Beckham played at his age. The same goes for like Pedri. I think Pedri was the other example too, where like he had like 18, 19, where like they played more games overall on a calendar year than that people back then used to play. And it's like it's not the international games that are increasing to an extent. It's the club games that are increasing. Right, the preseason tours, or like now every league has like 3 different tournaments going on that they have to play, and it's kind of like you can't. I would love for them to prioritize international football more than clubs, but it's like the clubs have taken over. That it's really hard to fit in, or like for them to prioritize international ball over club. And it's like then also like there's also like the whole policy too as well, where like it's like clubs can like si quieren like no pueden prestar los jugadores, and next thing you know like your big player just isn't coming to play for their nation because the club said no. So it's like I feel like to an extent there. I mean, and there's also like there's also the take from the player side that some of them like don't want, like if you're from South America, if you're from North America, like you don't want to make that 10-hour flight to play 2 games and then go back. Like it kind of like that's another perspective on that as well, where it's like I feel like they should prioritize nation, because I feel like representar like your country in the long run may mean more than representing a club that may just forget who you are if you're not good, or if you're just not relevant to them. But I think the scheduling conflicts that exist in today's football just don't allow it for that. The mentality of the players changing, where like they're being told to not prioritize international football as much because your team now has 3 tournaments, or the expectation is that you're going to win. You have to win 3 trophies or compete in 3 different tournaments on a calendar year.
I don't know.
Anyone disagree? I mean, I think I agree with you, Jose. You're the one that says the club. You mean you have anything to disagree with there?
I mean, I don't. I wouldn't say I disagree. Like I said, like at the end of the day, like I think it's. You could argue for make the same argument for both. I mean, again, I just think that the games that are played for international compared to club. I mean, if I'm a player, I'd rather just play for my club. Stay home. That's where you're gonna live. But then again, my brother also has a point. Like, bro, like some players just don't want to make that flight. They don't want to travel, get jet lagged, and then in 2 days you're gonna go back to I don't know England, or wherever you play, or Saudi Arabia or Greece. Thinking about like someone like Berlin. So, yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons.
So your argument is that it's comfortability.
Yeah.
They should just be comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if I
they shouldn't.
Well, look, dude. Hey, dude, you're asking people to leave from Brazil to go to England. There's no problem there. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no problem me going to Greece. But there's somehow a problem coming back from Greece to Mexico.
And I guess we see it a lot more with like this side of the country, where like it's like if you're in
Everything's so
Europe,
far.
if you're in Europe playing in Europe, you're only about a 2-hour flight.
Yeah.
But I get to rebuttal my own take on it.
Debate
No,
myself. This will
Debate
become
myself.
Jose's debating himself segment.
At the end of the day, it's the club that's paying your salary for the year, not your international team. So I could see why a player would prioritize club football. Like if anything, when you play international, if you're not relevant or like if you're like I refuse to believe that Danilo is making money by playing for Brazil because he's in the Brazil ads. Like no, like nobody
Nah,
wants him.
dude. He should pay us
Like-
for watching him.
Like there are some players in that position where like yeah sure I'm coming to play for my nation, but at the end like I'm not getting anything off this and I may risk an injury. Whereas if I just stay with my club, like shit, I cash in a check every week, whether I play or not. But that's because this is a team that's paying me on a yearly salary, and it's like the selección is just the bonus that I may or may not get if I'm not good.
I mean, that's everything. You're summing up everything that's wrong with football. I mean, that right there is what that's right there was wrong with it. I mean, yeah, I mean that is the sad reality of where we are, though. I mean, I think players are gonna be in the near future. I mean, we're already starting to see Mbappe make this type of choice, and I don't see if arguably the best player in the world is making that type of choice. What's gonna stop, regular Joe Schmo from making that same decision and being like, well, hey, dude, I'm the only one, I'm the only one that is playing in Europe, dude, so I don't have to go to this. Just invite me when we're doing qualifiers.
Yeah.
It's like don't bother calling me.
Don't
Lose
bother
my
calling me
life.
for the Nations League, dude. Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Hey man. Football as itself is a problem, and you know what the problem stems from? Money.
There you go. And with that, I think we can start wrapping this thing up. Thank you for listening. Any final words from you guys?
Nah.
No.
Just like, subscribe, follow us on all our social media at Strictly Football 21. If you have any takes, drop them down in the comments as well. We'll try to get to whoever comments. Whoever's
Yeah, and you know what? While
And I
we're
think we hit
talking
a
about this,
milestone.
yeah, go ahead. I was about to name a milestone
Yeah.
as well, or a near milestone. Go ahead.
We're at 80 subscribers now on YouTube. Let me just double check this.
Hey, I was about to shout out the same thing. Good.
So we're at 81 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you everybody who has subscribed to our channel. We're averaging around like 30 views right now for the last 2 videos we've posted. So we really do appreciate all the views, all the likes. If you even left a comment, I think someone did leave a comment. We really do appreciate it. It goes.
Shout out to Adrian.
Yeah, it goes a long way for us. Again, we don't make money off of this. We just do this, after our jobs. That's a hobby, if you want to call it that. But we just do it out of the passion we have to talk about football. So we really do appreciate all the support. Keep subscribing. Tell your friends about us, your family members. Follow us on social media at Strictly Football 21, mainly on TikTok and Instagram. Yeah, but thank you everybody for all the support.
And even another fun fact though too is our Threads followers is also increasing, which is interestingly enough because we don't post anything on Threads, but it's growing. So thank you for folks that are just following our page and just engaging with us because it means a lot. And sometimes it's hard to gauge how much of an audience we have, but we have somewhat of an audience, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, we really
so thank you.
Yeah, thank you everybody.
All right, until the next episode. Adios.
Yeah, catch you next time.
Adios.